Ciao a tutti, it's Aurium, aka Yuno, aka the Firefist guy. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah, Firefist, Firetrix, finally profiling this after being inspired by Snaps, using the deck to pretty good effect at Exit and Elimination last month. Well, this month. He went 5-2, so yeah, deck is probably kind of decent, especially now that Mermel is picking up a lot of steam because the deck has a really strong Mermel matchup because this is a rank 4 deck. Abyss Dweller is a rank 4. Mermel doesn't like Abyss Dweller, so rank 4 decks are pretty strong versus Mermel in general. So yeah. Also, the deck can gain a lot of advantage and exploit slow Mermel openings like a normal summon Undyne or normal summon Pike. So yeah, I think the deck is a lot better now with Mermel in the forefront than it was before, with Cat being the most played deck. So yeah, it's kind of decent meta call, I guess. Let's get into it. You got 3 copies of Bear. Finally got all of the multis. And 1 Gorilla and 1 Wolf Bark. You know, Wolf Bark is limited. If it was a 3, you would play 3, and honestly, it would be fine at 3. Bear is the main monster of the deck. Pops, attacks, gets a formation, use it, whatever. Wolf Bark is the rank 4 enabler. Gorilla is, pops back row, but another interesting use for it is Lind. Basically, if you attack into Lind, it triggers Chain Link 1. Lind triggers Chain Link 2. So if they summon Pike, it gets summoned in Chain Link 2, so it misses timing, so it can't activate the effect. So that's really, really strong for it. That's the Fire Fists, and then for the Trap Tricks, we have the 3 Murmillo and the 2 Dionia. And that's pretty much it for the monster lineup, for the real monster lineup. We don't play the hands. We are playing, of course, 3 copies of Maxi, because it's Maxi. What are you gonna do, not play it? But yeah, the Trap Tricks are a much stronger opener turn 1 than the Fire Fists, which are only really strong turn 2. Dionia, very strong card, pretty much second and third copy of Wolf Park. And yeah, really not much to say. Like, you can make rank 4s with these. It's kind of why Trap Tricks are better than Cardgar, because they can serve as materials, which the Farfists can't. So yeah, pretty small monster lineup. I like that, honestly. I've always found it kind of cute when our decks have really small monster lineups. Anyways, spells. 3 upstart, 2 duality. Only 2 duality because after turn 1 you generally want to be special summoning. If a body survives, you're probably gonna XYZ summon the turn. So yeah, only 2 duality. Also, deck space is kind of tight, especially with the upstarts. Formations, 3 tankies, 1 Tensu, and 1 Gyokko. Tensu is the rota of the deck, and also fuel. And also gives your monsters 100 attack more, which is very relevant in the Mermal matchup, because you can run over Abyss Spike with any Fire Fist now. It gets 1700. All of these guys give you 100 attack extra. Tensu gives you a second normal summon, so it's kind of situational, but you can search it out and do some combos with it. And it's also a continuous spell, so comes up later, so it's very good if you have your hand clogged with monsters. And Gyoku is MST, you have to blind MST into it. Do keep in mind that, like, if you have Gyoku open, Gyoku plus Tanky or Gorilla versus Mermal, you want to use it immediately to bait out the sphere so you can run over the lane with Gorilla. Otherwise, versus Artifact Trap Tricks, you really don't want to use it until they use their artifacts, unless you are very desperate. Like you want to wait until they do their artifact shenanigans and then just pop and then just lock down whatever other card they have left, which is probably a trap hole. So yeah. Speaking of trap hole, I'm running two Forbidden Lance. Protects us from bottomless. What's his name? Break for skill, finish, and also lets us run over some stuff to get our bear effects off if we are in a bad matchup. And by bad matchup, I mean just in a matchup versus stuff bigger than our Fire Fists can run over. Two MSTs because it's just a very versatile card. Very strong versus Abysphere, Finish Chain. Not so strong versus like at, but like if you wait until they use their artifacts or if you do it in their turn, it's pretty strong. Then to round off the spell lineup, we are running 2 copies of Soul Charge and 1 copy of Dark Hole. Snap's mains Dimension Official, I don't think that's very justifiable in the main deck because it's only the live versus Mermals and Mythic Rulers in the tier 1 and tier 1.5 decks. And Mermals are already your best matchup there. It's pretty completely dead versus the other tier 1 decks. So yeah, no real point in main decking it in my opinion. Yeah, Dark Hole is just strong card. Soul Charge, play 2 because, well, it's a control deck. It goes very plus with Traptrixes. For trap lineup, we are running 3 copies of Breaker Skill. Because it's Breaker Skill, and I wanted to have something more for artifacts since they are a pretty tough matchup. Not for Traptrixes, but for the Fire Fists. They are really high value moral attack targets. 2 Call of the Hunted. Not only does it let you reuse your Wolf Bark, also triggers your Traptrixes. Also just safeguards against stuff like moral attack. If you're going first, you said it already. Then we are running, of course, the bottomless and the Traptrix upon Nightmare because we're running Traptrixes. Then we're running Torrential and Solemn Warning. Not running Compulse, no room for it. If you want to run it, cut third Breaker Skill, but in my opinion that's better because like we already have enough monster removal. And then to run the main deck, we are running 1 Soul Drain. I mentioned that was the main diffuser, but Soul Drain, yes, because this stops the opponent's artifacts from summoning back themselves. This stops. You can change to like if they MST their own back row, you can just use Soul Drain chain, and if they don't have another MST, then they kind of just minus themselves into oblivion. Versus Girgias, it's okay because you can stop Girgian text from floating if you destroy it, and also stops Accelerator. Not the strongest versus Girgias, but it's not the 100% dead like Diffuser is. What else? It's obviously auto win versus Mermals. Obviously auto win kinda versus Mythic Rulers. Obviously completely dead versus Spellbooks. But what is it? Everything is dead versus Spellbooks. That's why Spellbooks is good. Anyways, going into the extra deck, we are running 1 copy of Tiger King and 1 copy of Cardinal for the Beast Warrior stuff. I'm not running Kagutsuchi, no room for it. It's good, but just don't have room for it. And with all the Traptrixes, I don't really want to have too many non-generic rank 4s. Then we have 2 copies of 101 because it's the best rank 4. 1 copy of Exiton because it's the next best rank 4. 2 copies of Dweller because it's the Wincon versus Mermals, and it's so strong versus Mermals, you really want it. And 1 Rhapsody. It's Rhapsody, 1 Black Ship. Standard stuff. 1 Crazy Box because we don't have enough back row removal in the main deck to comfortably go against Mythic Rulers. skill drain. Maragna 0 because Bujins are a really bad matchup. One Marrowgeist because Gilga Hands is a pain. One Giant Hand because we don't always have something. Tiger King is not always great of Soul Charge, especially like mid game Soul Charges. We don't always have stuff. Maybe you're just stuck with Traptrixes. Giant Hand is good. 100 and Draco because we're playing Firefist, so we have formations to protect it, and one the Cowboy. We attack. Firefists really like to play Cowboy. Not playing the Ghost Emerald because no point. Not playing Maestro because no space. Not playing Diamond Wolf because nothing's very good in this deck. You don't. Unless you are gonna Soul Charge right after it, this deck really doesn't play enough monsters to justify Diamond Wolf. So yeah, that's it from me. Leave a like, join the Discord, leave a comment, ring the bell, remind me to say all this shit first, subscribe, all the good shit, and goodbye.